Okay, we are at Midtown Comics Times Square. It is Saturday, May 22nd, 2010. We're here with Paul Levitz. Mr. Levitz, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
There's a couple of areas in your Wikipedia article that we need sources with. First, can you talk about your formal education as it pertained to writing and how it got you into comics, where you went or studied, or what you studied?
My English teacher in high school was Frank McCourt, which was a pretty good education in how to write.
Frank McCourt?
Yep.
You're kidding.
He was the new kid in the Stuyvesant English department, and I tried out his class and stuck, and he liked me, and I liked him. He got me on his brother's radio show because he thought my fanzine was such a cute, weird thing. And
I didn't even know that.
So that probably was my most formal education in the English language. I didn't really take much in the way of English courses in college at all. I was going to NYU. In those days, they had a 5-year bachelor's master's program in business that I stuck with for about the first 3 years, but no real formal English or writing education during that. Good course in journalism.
So did you change your major to writing afterwards? Or?
No, I dropped out.
Oh, you dropped out?
Yep.
Okay, and what did you do after that?
Well, I was already working at DC for quite a while then.
Oh.
I started freelancing for DC when I was in high school.
Oh.
And I was going to NYU a couple days a week, going to DC the other 2 or 3 days a week to paper.
You were freelancing as a writer?
Originally writing text pages and letter pages, and then I was working as a per diem assistant editor and still doing letters pages, things like that, and then eventually started doing stories as well.
Now, you have worked in fanzines, as you just mentioned. Was your first work for DC in fanzines, or did your work in fanzines prepare you for what you initially did at DC?
Well, my fanzines got me to work at DC, I think. I started doing a fan magazine that was originally known as Etc., and then eventually absorbed The Comic Reader, a long-standing fanzine. And it really was the first regularly published news fanzine about comics with what's coming out on what day, all sorts of information that now you take for granted, but in those days were pretty hard to find, even for the writers and artists. And almost all of comics were published out of New York at that point, so it got me to know all the writers and artists, and that's how I got involved in the field. I was walking through the halls of DC one day after school, collecting information from my latest issue, when Joe Orlando yelled out, "Hey you, come in here." Me, Joe? Yeah, I need someone to write my letter columns. I'm not a writer. I read your fanzine. You write well enough.
What were you doing at DC? Were you already working there?
No, collecting information for the latest issue of the fanzine.
Oh, I see. And Joe Orlando saw your fanzine, and that's how...
Yeah, no, all the guys knew it.
And so that was when you first got hired at DC?
Yep.
And when was that?
December 72.
December of 72. And was that when you started freelancing, when he hired you? Okay. All right, Mr. Levitz, thank you very much for the interview. Good luck on the new Legion of Superheroes title, which just came out recently. Have a nice day.
Thank you.